Modern food preservation relies entirely on a continuous supply of electricity. When you move off the grid, that continuous supply is often the first thing to disappear, leaving your perishable food highly vulnerable to rapid spoilage. To solve this, we can use Method 45. From Linda Adams' Manual on Self-Sustaining Living, the ZeroPot. This is a highly effective refrigeration system that requires zero electricity and costs almost nothing to construct. When built correctly, this simple clay structure is capable of keeping raw fruits and vegetables fresh and crisp for up to 20 days. True off-grid independence requires decoupling your essential survival needs from the power grid entirely. By securing a reliable way to preserve your food, you eliminate one of the largest obstacles to living completely self-sufficiently. Before we begin the build, gather these exact materials: one large clay pot, one smaller clay pot, a supply of clean sand, water, and either a solid lid or a damp cloth. This setup relies on evaporative cooling. Evaporative cooling is a physical process where the evaporation of a liquid removes heat from a solid surface. To trigger this effect, the architecture requires the smaller pot to be nested directly inside the larger one, creating a uniform empty gap between their walls. The large outer pot must be made of completely unglazed terracotta if the clay is glazed or painted. The moisture will be trapped inside and cannot physically escape to cool the inner chamber. Without this precise spatial gap and this specific unglazed material, the cooling effect will fail to activate. Step 1. Pour an initial base layer of dry sand directly into the bottom of the large outer clay pot morning tone. Pay close attention here. This base layer of sand must be packed down completely flat. An uneven base will cause the inner pot to tilt, which compromises the entire structure. Step 2. Insert the smaller inner clay pot, resting it gently onto that compacted base layer. Check your vertical alignment. The top rim of the inner pot must sit exactly level with or slightly below the top rim of the outer pot. If the rims are misaligned, physically remove the inner pot. Now add or remove sand from the base layer until you achieve the correct height. Establishing a stable, perfectly level inner chamber right now ensures your final cover can create a proper, airtight seal over the food later. Step 3. Slowly pour your remaining sand into the empty 1 to 2 inch gap between the inner and outer pots. Do not just let the sand fall loosely. You must physically tamp the sand down tightly using a stick or your fingers as you pour. If packed loosely, microscopic air pockets form, interrupting the system's thermal mass, its ability to absorb and release heat energy, destroying the ZeroPot's cooling efficiency. Keep pouring and tamping until the densely packed sand is entirely flush with the top lip of your inner pot. This sand layer acts as the actual engine of your refrigerator. Its physical density directly determines your system's overall cooling power. Step 4 is activation. Take your water and slowly pour it directly into the packed sand ring you just created. Watch the sand as you pour. You will see the dry, light-colored grains rapidly absorb the water, transforming into a dark, dense, saturated mass. Pour slowly. If you pour too fast, the heavy water flow will wash your carefully packed sand right out of the gap. The sand must be entirely saturated, all the way down to the base layer. If it is only damp on the surface, the system will not work. This deep water saturation officially turns your static clay and sand into an active thermodynamic heat pump. A thermodynamic heat pump is a physical system that transfers thermal energy away from a source to a different destination. Step 5. Place your fresh produce directly into the dry inner chamber. Once loaded, cover the top entirely with your solid lid or a damp cloth. Now place the completed ZeroPot in a shaded, breezy area. Do not place it in direct, stagnant sunlight. Moving air accelerates the evaporation of the water from the outer terracotta wall. As that water turns to gas and drifts away, it actively pulls heat outward, away from your inner food chamber. There is only one rule for long-term maintenance. Check the unit every 1 to 2 days. Whenever the top layer of sand begins to feel dry to the touch, slowly pour in more water to resaturate it. By mastering this simple zero electricity technology, you secure your food supply and take a definitive, tangible step toward a truly self-sustaining, off-grid lifestyle.